And let's get started. Is it recording? Cool. Yeah. All right. So today we're talking about lead generating again. I don't know why that popped up. So, alrighty, let me hide my participant screen. Achievers always work from a clear sense of priority. We've talked about Gary Keller quotes. This one is straight out of the One Thing book. If you have not read the One Thing, I highly recommend it. However, I would read the MREA first. So if you have not read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, the red book, please do so. You can Google it and find a used copy for about $4 or $5. It is okay to have a used copy. It does not need to be a brand new copy. It is the same material. It does also not need to be the $50 leadership edition that I have. It can just be a regular good old MREA. All of the lessons in that book still ring true, and a lot of them will help you set up your business. But the One Thing is about the 80-20 rule in large part, which is 80% of our results come from 20% of our activities. So we focus on those 20% of our activities. In this case, it's lead generating. If we can nail lead generating, the rest of the problems will take care of themselves. Talked about that at length before. Today, we're going to talk about social media. And social media is looked at as another form of your database or an additional database. Now, when we think of social media, I want you to think about one platform in particular. Okay, so too many times agents get caught up in trying to be in all of the places at the same time. Until you've really built up a cadence or built up a system around social media, you want to take one platform at a time. Today, we're going to talk about the 4 most popular ones. I'm going to give you a little bit of details about each one, and I want you to think about which one stands out to you. Part of your homework, if you're coming tomorrow, and really this should be in general, is to make a decision with yourself on what platform you want to go after. Every platform, as I just said, has a popular demographic or client avatar. The 4 most popular and the ones we're going to talk about today are Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. As a coach, my advice to you would be start on Facebook or Instagram. Maybe LinkedIn, especially if you already have a presence there. YouTube is the most challenging because it takes some time, effort, and money. Now, I want everybody to write this down or keep a note of this. We're going to do it again tomorrow. But today, I would like for every single one of you who have not already to add me to Facebook, follow me on Instagram, and most importantly, subscribe to the YouTube channel. So if you go to EdenProperties.kw or -KW on YouTube, you can click the little subscribe button. Most importantly, there would be Facebook and YouTube. That's where I'm most present. Instagram, follow the business page. That one's Eden Properties VA, I think. You do not need to follow my personal page. I don't do as much there. But I want you to follow the Instagram business page, Facebook, personal and business. I'll share the business page tomorrow, and then YouTube for a variety of reasons. Those that do social media at a high level should be examples that you follow. I'm gonna bring some more examples tomorrow, depending on what account or platform you choose. So for example, I'll say, if you chose Facebook, here's a couple of good agents to follow on Facebook. If you chose Instagram, here's who I'd follow on Instagram. If you choose YouTube, here's who I'd follow on YouTube. If you choose LinkedIn, here's who I'd follow on LinkedIn. There's a popular phrase called R&D, which most people think stands for research and develop. In real estate world, it stands for rip and duplicate, meaning take what they are doing well and do your own. Some of the most popular videos on YouTube are relocating to blank area. Well, we can do relocating to Richmond instead of relocating to Orlando. Or here are the most popular places to live in Midlothian versus here are the most popular places to live in Henrico. You can get Uber specific. All right, let's start with Facebook. The average demographic on Facebook is 40 to 55 years old. That is trending upward too. Less and less younger people are on Facebook, so that's part of why that average age is pushed up. Now, that is not necessarily not to be looked at as a negative. That is actually a good thing because most Facebook users are homeowners because of that age. You can also get hyper specific on Facebook with pages and groups. Now, full disclosure, you do not need, I repeat, you do not need a business Facebook page. Unless you are starting a team or you're on a team, you do not need a business Facebook page. That can come significantly later. You should start with your personal page. When we talk about the like model here in a second, I'll explain why. But you are going to, until you max out the 5,000 friends you can have on your personal page, or you start building a brand that is not your name, meaning it's a team, you do not need a business page. Use your Facebook page, your personal one. Now, you can create or join groups, especially if you're going to do something like a farm or a hybrid farm. You would want to have a group for that neighborhood. However, that also is not necessary. It can be done, though. Now, what I would recommend is join groups around your interests. So one of the agents that used to be on my team previously, she was a member of a group called Boss Babes, which was moms and women that were business owners and entrepreneurs. And she got quite a bit of business out of it because she was networking with people that own their own business. Conversations and content. My favorite part about Facebook is not only is it easy to have conversations with folks on there through comments and engagement, that is also evident or it shows. So you can comment on posts and they can comment back and everybody else can see that engagement. You can also direct message and make it more private. Facebook's algorithm is a little bit easier to trick than Instagram. We're going to talk about the algorithm a little bit today. More of it's going to be taught in Rachel's class on Thursday. So if you haven't signed up already for Beat the Algorithm, you're going to want to. But the algorithm is what determines what is seen in your feed. That has changed significantly over the years, and really even more so over the last couple months. So for example, you can be scrolling on Facebook, and if you pause and read a post or watch a video, Facebook knows that. And so you don't even have to click like or comment or engage with it. If you watch a video or a reel or a short on Facebook, it knows that and it will start suggesting more of them to you. So just be aware of that. Now, on the flip side, that's what we're trying to do to take advantage of our social media. We want to make content or post things that are going to create engagement. The easiest way to do this is using the like model. We're going to talk about a content calendar today, and we're really going to build one out tomorrow. But the like model stands for local lowdown, stuff about the local market, info, in this case, information about real estate, getting to know me, which is the K, and then engaging in conversation. The most important of this is getting to know me and engaging in conversation. If you can build out your social media platform well enough, people will feel like they already know you, even if they don't. So for example, if you look at my Facebook page, you see a lot of stuff about me and the kids, jujitsu, coaching, giving advice, things that I'm doing around the house, whether it's chickens or yard work. And David and I were talking about lawnmowers at the start of today. There's a lot of recent pictures of me wanting to break my lawnmower in half because it's not working. But there's pictures of me working on the lawnmower. So people that resonate with that kind of stuff will see more of my content or engage with my content. Ironically, when I posted the deck that I was working on the lawnmower, I got a call from a contractor of mine who I refer business to who said, "What's going on with your lawnmower?" I told him and he gave me a replacement. Now I refer him a lot of business. So he gave it to me because it's a reciprocal relationship. However, had I not posted that on social media, I probably would have been having to go buy a new deck or a new mower, which I did not want to do. That's that know me and engage me part. Now, engaging in conversation is the most important thing you can do in Facebook. If you take one thing away from today with regards to Facebook, it's comment on people's posts. The more you comment in what they're posting, the more Facebook says, "Oh, you like what they're posting. I'm going to show their stuff to you, and I'm going to show your stuff to them." You can also direct message. However, that does nothing for the algorithm. Commenting is what's going to do stuff for the algorithm, along with sharing. But commenting is the most important part, especially because the more you share, the more clouded your timeline gets. And so your posts are going to get kind of drowned in content or in other people's posts. So you don't necessarily want to do that unless it's something that makes sense to share. But commenting would do very well. I'm going to use an example. Krista posted a really funny picture of all the pollen all over her car. If I went and commented on it and said something in regards to the pollen about how I can't breathe and I can't see the last 3 days, it's going to then go, okay, Krista and Austin are posting similar stuff. We're going to share each other's stuff with each other. If I shared Krista's post on my page, it would be funny. People would get it, but it's not going to do anything for me. It's going to show her page. So there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, I want to comment and I want to engage that way. We'll talk more about how you can go from commenting to engaging in direct message separately from here. I will also caution you if somebody says something like, the stock market's crashing, prices are going to burst, the bubble's coming, the world's going to end, don't buy real estate now. Don't comment on that kind of post and argue with them. Even though you're right, it's going to make you look bad because you're arguing with them. What would be more impactful in that kind of case is to direct message them and say, what makes you think the housing market's going to crash? And then based on the response can be depending on how you engage with that person. Some people just think they know everything and they want to be heard, or they're watching a particular news station that's talking about it. If you look, listings are up, transactions are up, prices are up, interest rates are down. Nowhere does it say that the market's going to crash. Matter of fact, going back to 1970, the market's gone down, I think, 7 years ever. If you go back to the Great Depression, it's still 7 years, and it was the 80s housing crash and the 08 housing crash. So prices are not going down, barring an economic collapse. We're not going to necessarily see an economic collapse. We may see some heavy swings or drastic impacts, but we're not going to see a heavy collapse. All right, let's move on to Instagram. Now, Instagram is a younger demographic. The largest demographic on Instagram is 18 to 24. The second largest is 25 to 34. Now, you may say, well, that's too young. I don't want to go after those type of people because they can't afford to buy a house. That's not necessarily true. Especially the second largest demographic group. That 25 to 34 is a sweet spot for first-time home buyers. The 18 to 24 is a sweet spot for sharing what you post if it's engaging. They also may have parents that want to move. Before I continue on Instagram, real quick story. I think they're in their late 20s. The buyer that I just closed at the end of March found Jackson on Instagram and then found me on Instagram. Interviewed 3 agents and 3 lenders. Jackson and I both won, and they worked with both of us, and we put them under contract and closed in about 3.5 weeks. It was very fast. It went very well. That buyer has since sent me a referral and left. They both buyers, husband and wife, have left 2 5-star reviews on my Google page. They engage with almost every single thing I post on Instagram. I'm friends with them on Facebook too. They never comment on Facebook. I don't even know if they log into their Facebook. But they are engaging on every single story, almost every single post on Instagram. So they're helping me build my Instagram page. Also, they got friends, and I want their friends to call me when they want to buy a house. The beauty of first-time home buyers is they are one of the highest likelihood to refer, especially if they didn't think that buying a home was possible, and then you help them buy a house. They will then tell all of their friends. Also, younger demographics like to party and host get-togethers. So they're going to have friends over at their house. That's an opportunity for you to help them throw a housewarming party, or at least get to know their friends that they're having over, and then it's an easy way for them to refer you. Now, Instagram is typically shorter form of content. Reels are, they were very popular. They're not quite as popular now as stories. Stories seem to be the most popular form of Instagram and the highest form of engagement. It's ironic because they go away after 24 hours. However, people typically log into Instagram, click that little button in the top left where it says your profile, and they start flipping through stories. They're more likely to do that and click, 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 click than they are to scroll, especially because the scrolling has gotten inundated with ads and suggested accounts and stuff that they don't necessarily care about seeing. Stories don't necessarily do that. So make sure you are sharing to your story. I'm sure Rachel's going to talk about this at length on Thursday, because this algorithm is the most It should say impacted, not impactful. Now, if you want to boost the Instagram algorithm, you're going to want to comment, like on stories just as much as you do on posts. I have, I think, 500 or 600 followers on my Instagram, and I swear to you, I see the same 4 people in my feed. And it drives me nuts because I'm like, I don't really care what these 4 people are doing. It's the Tottenham Spurs account. They're not going to buy a house from me. They're in London. It's a Premier League soccer team. I'm like, as much as I love following their content and seeing what's going on, that doesn't help my business. So I try to intentionally go find friends of mine or people that I know or I have a relationship with and engage in their posts, whether it's liking or commenting on their stories or commenting on their posts. Liking their post does not do as much, just like in Facebook, as commenting does. Direct message will help you more on Instagram, though. All right, questions on Facebook and Instagram before I keep going, or comments. All right, cool. Oh,
I have one
Yep,
question.
go ahead, Krista. Yep.
I will typically like post to one and share with the other, so they kind of go at the same time. Does that matter that it's all going to be the same stuff?
It doesn't matter. What I would tell you to do, and it's something that I'm working on myself as well, is experiment with doing. You can do the same post, but rather than do the automatic Instagram shares to Facebook posts, experiment with creating separate posts. So, for example, post on Instagram, copy and paste the content or the caption or whatever you want to call it, and then a minute or two later, go post the same thing on Facebook. So you can do the same post, but that automatic share seems to hide it in the algorithm. It doesn't do as well as a direct post will. It's something that I've been playing with some of my own. The other thing is too, is if you can create a call to action or an ask for engagement in the post, it will almost always do better. Whether you're asking for a recommendation or asking a poll or a question, one of my favorite things to do is post polls on Instagram stories and then see what the results are. I did one last week, which actually contributed to my YouTube video. So a little bit of layering here for you is the Instagram story was, out of these 4 things, what impacts your mortgage payment the most? And it was your interest rate, your property taxes, HOA fees if they exist and what they are, or the sales price. And I had 75% of the answer was Instagram, or I mean, interest rates, excuse me. 75% said interest rates. And another, I think the rest of the 25% said property taxes. They were all wrong. The answer is sales price or loan amount, but sales price, you get it. So I did a video talking about that and said, hey, I did a poll on Instagram asking what impacts your payment the most. Everybody thought interest rates. Turns out they're wrong. It's actually your sales price. Followed by down payment, which wasn't an option, but it's the same thing. Followed by property taxes, followed by interest rate. Well, HOA, then interest rate. Interest rates actually last. The reason why, you could drop a full 1% in an interest rate, and your payment's probably going to move about $100. People get hyper caught up in interest rates because that's the easy talking point right now. The reason why payments are so high right now for average prices, it has nothing to do with the interest rate. It's because the prices are higher than they were the last several years, and property taxes went up and insurance went up. Then you add in that the interest rate is higher. But if interest rate goes from 7 to 6, your payment's not going to change that much. Now, the beauty of it is that drop in payment is not going to interest, it's going to your principal. So you can technically come out ahead. However, that's getting more in the weeds on the math. And people don't understand that because it's not talked about enough. So that's an opportunity for you to share value there by saying, look, the reason why your payments are so expensive, the reason why a $350,000 house is $2,500 a month is not because the interest rates are 6%. Interest rates have always been 6% on average. Matter of fact, they've been 6.5, 6.7 on average. If you take out 2022 and 2023, 2021, 2022, 2023, where they were under 4, historic rates are like 7.5%. interest rates are not why your mortgage payment's higher. It's because everything is more expensive right now, especially insurance and property taxes. Tax assessment used to be closer to like 60% of value, and every single county in our area, in our market, has a goal by 2026, 2027 to be within 90 to 95% of value. That's a 30% increase in taxes, which is why monthly payments are going up, because you have to pay that tax amount over 12 months. And there's nothing you can do about it. Any more questions or comments? That was a great question, Krista.
Rhonda had a question on the chat. I've had my business page for 3 years and I'm an LLC registered with the state. Should I delete my business page?
No, I wouldn't delete it. I would just focus on building your personal page out first and then share specific content to your business page. So like, for example, this is what we do with Eden Properties. So we do significantly less posting on our Instagram and our Facebook business page, mainly because they're new. At the same time, I get a lot more engagement on my personal page, as does Mike. We have a content calendar for our Eden Properties page that is a little bit different than what our personal page is. Basically, we share anytime we get a client review, anytime we get a new listing, and anytime we get it under contract, and anytime we get it closed. Those go on our Facebook and our Instagram business pages. Everything else goes on our personal pages. Now, we will share business page posts to our personal page, but that kind of just depends. If you don't have a lot of engagement, meaning you don't have a lot of likes or you don't have a lot of follows on your business page, you can explore deleting it, just so you don't have to double your efforts. But I would focus on the personal page. Even agents that get a lot of business from social media, most of it comes from personal pages. The ones that have the business pages, they've maxed out their personal page. So for example, Jeff Glover, he's maxed out that 5,000 friends on his Facebook page. Matter of fact, his personal page may have even become a page. It might not even be an account that you can add friends anymore. You might just be able to like it. I haven't checked in a while. But so more of his content goes to the Glover real estate page. He also is not the one doing it. He has a manager that does it. All right, let's talk YouTube. I'm going to kind of go quick here because most of us are not in a position where we want to spend the money and time that it takes to be present on YouTube. However, if video is your jam, I do want to highlight this stuff. I'm going to talk about a couple of tips after I go through these stats on YouTube, because that is kind of my area of expertise. I used to have a really big YouTube channel. I deleted it and I'm rebuilding a new one, mainly because of some branding stuff that we're changing. But I've studied this a lot. So the average user on YouTube is 25 to 34. YouTube is the second largest search engine behind Google. Now, Google owns YouTube. So if you're getting good search criteria and results on one or the other, they will impact each other. If you build out a YouTube platform or a profile that's easily searched or getting a lot of results and views, you will show up higher up the search list for SEO or on Google. SEO is search engine optimization. Now, there are tricks to the trade of YouTube. So for example, your YouTube descriptions and your YouTube video titles are especially important to get SEO optimized. If you go and look at our YouTube channel, the ones with the red thumbnails, which is our content, have very specific YouTube descriptions. They have links in the descriptions. It talks about what the video is sharing. It also has direct backlinks to all of our social media pages. That is intentional. You should also have a call to action on all of your YouTube videos. Really, on any video, you should have a call to action. Don't just share stuff. Give them something to do. On ours, it's if you'd like to connect with us, email info@edenpropertiesva.com. The info email that we have is strictly for YouTube. That email does not go anywhere else. So if somebody's to email us, we know they're coming from YouTube. The best way to get results on YouTube is with a specific client avatar, meaning you go after a very, very specific type of client. Don't just do relocating to Richmond. Are you a homeowner looking to sell where you're at and relocate to Midlothian? Have the job cuts impacted your life in Northern Virginia and you're considering moving to Richmond? Here's the top 5 reasons why you're not alone. Affordability, job market, commute can still happen, blah, 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 blah. Property videos, aka listing tours, also do very well on YouTube. I know several agents in our company that have made a fortune and made a living off of doing listing tour videos where they walk through a house and they talk about what they see and what $500,000 gets you in Richmond. Let's take a look. And all they do is listing tours around $500,000 properties. Now, if it's not your listing or if it's not a KW listing, get permission from the listing agent before you do that. Another way of doing this, which is what a lot of these agents started out doing it with, is new construction. Pick a builder and do listing tours or walkthroughs of their homes that are being built, whether it's a model home, a spec home, meaning it's already built, or get permission to do it as they're being built. And then this is an NAR statistic. It's also AI generated. If you Google YouTube and real estate stats, this is one of the first things that pops up. 73% of homeowners prefer an agent with video presence. Now, this does not mean you need to have 1 million subscribers on a YouTube channel. I will tell you the last 2 of the 3 last listings I've taken, they were most impressed with the video tour or the listing video that we have. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you one. All right, you get it. We don't have to do the whole thing. But that goes on all of our social media, and our photographer made it for me. Well, with me. I did the 15-second intro, and then he shoots the rest, and then he sends me the finished product. Almost every single professional photographer is doing some type of listing video right now, and if they're not, find a new photographer. I can give you 1, 2, 3, 4 of them off the top of my head that are doing it. So if you need a listing photographer, see me after class or shoot me a text. You may pay a little bit more. However, you can then cross-pollinate, no pun intended with the weather right now. You can cross-pollinate against different platforms. So for example, I'm doing that listing video because it showcases the listing. It can go in the MLS, it can go on my website, it can go on my YouTube, it can go on my Instagram, it can go on my Facebook, it can go on the business Instagram, it can go on the business Facebook page, all with the same video. Questions or comments or thoughts about YouTube? Now, if you're interested in video, but you don't want to take the time to build out a YouTube channel, don't. Post video to whatever platform you're going to do. Video does very well on Instagram and on Facebook. The beauty of Instagram is they like Reels, which is videos less than 90 seconds. A lot easier to record a video under 90 seconds than it is to record a YouTube video where they care about time on platform. Time on platform, meaning how long is your videos on YouTube, a little harder to build out. All right, let's talk LinkedIn. LinkedIn should be looked at as a virtual network. It's a professional network. The average, I thought I had this. Yeah, 50% of LinkedIn users earn $75,000 or more annually. That's a healthy budget. You're looking to buy or sell a house and you make money. That's a win-win for both of us. The average user is 25 to 34, followed by that next age bracket, which is 35 to 44. You can build a professional network on LinkedIn. Now, if you're going to look at LinkedIn, I would recommend going one of two routes. Building out a network of professional people in and around Richmond that you can literally network with, communicate with systematically. They will engage with your posts. You can engage with theirs. They are not in real estate. That would be option one. Option two, which is the route that I've gone, is you look for agents within Keller Williams that are not in Richmond. And you build an agent-to-agent referral source in LinkedIn. You can then add them to your command with their permission, of course, and communicate them there with an email newsletter, etc. Those are kind of the one of two ways I would go about doing it. Now, caution, if you're going to go the agent-to-agent route, well, actually, really, if you go either one route, you're going to be suggested people that are in real estate in Richmond because you have like-minded interests. While I wouldn't necessarily say avoid those, I wouldn't go out of your way to add them as connections. At Keller Williams, we're an open book. I have no issue with ripping and duplicating. However, people outside Keller Williams are competitors. I don't want them seeing what I'm doing at a high level and take my ideas. If you think you can recruit them to KW, that's a different conversation. However, if you're looking to build a network, you're not really going to network for referrals with another agent that's in our market. Over 75% of LinkedIn users are 30 or older. So even though that average user is 25 to 34, a significant amount of them are 30 plus, and 90% are household decision makers, which is great if you're looking for household decision makers. Property videos and listing tours do well on LinkedIn, as well as sharing bits of value. So for example, if you do an e-newsletter every month, post that on LinkedIn every month. And then you can also showcase your listings, or more importantly, showcase your expertise. The LinkedIn algorithm is not quite as advanced as Facebook and Instagram, or at least it hasn't been as artificially manipulated like those algorithms have. So you will see consistently more content, and you can, same rule applies, like and comment and engage on those posts, but you'll see a wider variety of people, which is a good thing because it allows you to cast a bigger net, both for your own content and for who you're engaging with. Now, as you start to engage with people, you will see those people more often. So just be aware of that. One of the easiest ways to engage with people on LinkedIn is they will share something about a job-related change. It's easy to congratulate that. Or so-and-so moved from this company to this company or took this promotion. Congrats, John. I think you'll do great in that new role. Let's catch up soon. Again, we've talked about 4 different platforms now. I want you to focus on one of them. We're going to talk cadence and audience here in a little bit. And eventually you're going to get to a content calendar. That is a lot easier to build out with one and then duplicate it across others. But one should still remain the focus. In the past, my focus has been both Facebook and Instagram. I've gone back and forth. I've done more with Facebook, and I've gotten more business out of Facebook than I have Instagram. I get more engagement on Instagram, less about real estate. Now, what I'm finding lately is I have people that I know through other things, AKA jujitsu, that will say, I see your post all the time. When it's time to buy a house, I'm going to call you. I don't really talk about real estate that much at the jiu-jitsu gym. Now, my business cards are up front, flyers for our upcoming event are on the wall and on the check-in desk, but I don't outwardly talk about it that often. I'm friends with all of them on Facebook and on Instagram, and so they see my posts. Lately, I've been pushing YouTube. Questions, thoughts, comments on those 4 platforms before we hit a few more slides. Cool. All right.
I do have a question.
Yes, go
um,
ahead.
about Instagram.
Yep.
So do the reels have to be 90 seconds or can they be
Nope.
longer?
That's the max, so they can be less. They can't be longer. It will make you chop it up at 90 seconds.
Okay.
Now
And how
you can
about,
post a video that's longer, but it won't be a reel. So when you go to Instagram, it's your feed. The next tab over is reels, and then the last tab over is like what you've been tagged in. All your reels go in one place. Now they will show up in the normal feed, but reels are 90 seconds and under, and then you can post longer videos to your feed, I believe.
okay.
Yeah,
And how about YouTube? What's the minimum?
there is none. Matter of fact, I think I have, let's see. Hold on. Oh, that one did really well. 213 views. So something happened with this one and with this one that didn't happen with the others, as you can see. These are all shorts. So if it's under 90 seconds, it's YouTube's version of Reels is what's called a short. So if it's under 90 seconds, it's going to fall in the shorts category. If it's longer than 90 seconds, it's going to fall in the video category, which is what all of these are. Now, those of you that have been with us for a while, blue thumbnails are now Agent for Trainings. These are the recorded Monday sessions. Red thumbnails are our content. You can also come over to my playlist and see all of the blue trainings in one place. I don't think there's a minimum though. I mean, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, I think. I mean, that Park Commons one is like 40 seconds. It's not very long. So yeah.
And how about for videos? Is there a minimum?
No, I don't think so. I mean, if it's less than a certain amount, it's going to put it as a short. So if it's
Oh,
less than 90
gotcha.
seconds, it's going to make it a short. If it's longer than 90 seconds, it'll make it a video. Yeah,
Okay.
so like most of my videos are around 3 minutes. This was a webinar, so that's why that one's longer. But 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. Obviously these sessions are longer. Oh, here's one that's 47 seconds, but it went as a video for some reason. Somehow that only got 5 views. That was one of my favorite videos. But anyways, good questions. Any
Thank
others from anybody or Carol?
you.
Cool. All
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah, of course. So this is straight out of Bold. So if you took Bold, you may remember this. It was also from, I think, the first or second week. So you may not. There are indirect ways to generate responses, and there are direct ways to generate responses. I prefer indirect ways. Direct will work. Another, whoops, this is what this should say. So indirect, these would generate responses that could lead to real estate. Both of these are still eliciting responses from somebody. Indirect typically works better, especially if you're trying to book an appointment or book a time to catch up. We haven't spoken in a while. I'd love to get coffee and catch up. When are you free? Or would you like to get coffee and catch up? Notice I said nothing about real estate there. When we catch up, real estate may come up. It may not. It probably will because they know I'm in real estate. They're going to ask me about it. But the whole point is I want to get coffee and catch up. I want to get face to face to them. Or, hey, we're having an event April 19th. You should come. Bring the kids. See you there. Now, direct is generating responses to something real estate specifically. Would you like a free home value estimate? Are you curious what interest rates are at? Do you want to subscribe to my e-newsletter? That poll example that I gave before is a direct response or a direct social media post. It has to do with real estate specifically. You should do both. If we go back to our like model, local lowdown could be real estate specific. It might not be. Here's what's going on in Richmond this weekend. Here are the top 5 ways people are celebrating Easter or celebrating St. Patrick's Day. If you want to get your kids out of the house and do an Easter egg hunt and don't want to plan it, here's where you can go. Those are all local things. Here's the Here's what's going on at the VMFA this week or this month. It's a blank exhibit. Those are local info pieces that you're sharing that have nothing to do with real estate, but it's about your local market. You're positioning yourself as the local expert. You could also say, here's what the local market did the first quarter. Prices went up 0.%. Interest rates came down to this. Homes are selling in this average days on market. You can give local market statistics. Information about real estate, that one's a little obvious. That's direct. Getting to know me, indirect. Nothing about real estate. Unless, little caveat here, and you should post this every once in a while, why are you in real estate? Or why are you with Keller Williams? We're going to talk about branding here in a second. What is your personal brand? That can be getting to know me, yet it is direct with real estate. And then engaging in conversation can obviously be both. All right, here's a content calendar. Take a picture of the screen or screenshot it, and this will also obviously be shared. This is the same content calendar that I use, and I have used for 7 years now, I think, straight. It's been a long time. I will tweak it occasionally, but for the most part, there's alliteration involved, so it's easy to remember. The other Monday that I've done is Monday Mindset because I'm a coach. I will share something inspirational on Mondays. My coach is telling me, don't do that. You need to share more about your local market. Like, okay, you're not even here. What do you know? Market Monday, something about the local market. What's going on? Could also be Monday Mindset if you are inspirational like I am. Tuesday Testimonial, share a client review. If you don't have client reviews, give a review on a vendor or a local business. It's still Tuesday Testimonial. You're just giving a review or making a suggestion. My wife and I ate at this Italian restaurant in Mechanicsville over the weekend. It was the best chicken Alfredo I've ever had. Blah, 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 blah. Thanks, Anna's. Can't wait to come back. Tag the business page. Matter of fact, those may be more powerful in the beginning or ever. Weekly Wednesday, share something about you personally every week on Wednesday. That's that know me piece. Now, when I say personally, it doesn't have to be super uber personal. Maybe you're reading a book that you want to share. Maybe you're trying a new 75 hard. Maybe you're going to a new gym. Maybe you're trying a new diet. Maybe you are listening to a new music or podcast playlist that you didn't think you would like and you've actually liked. It can be something like that. Maybe you're trying to fix the same lawnmower you've been working on for 2.5 weeks. Your pollen post would be a Wednesday, get to know me, like, haha, I have humor. I also have allergies. And then Thursday, tips and tricks. Give a tip or piece of advice or education about real estate. This is where you can position yourself as an expert and you don't need to overthink it. Sharing something like, we've all heard it before, don't wait to buy real estate and wait, works. It also creates engagement because people will say, these prices are too damn high. And you reply and say, so is rent. Guess what's going up over time? Both of those. So if you buy now and the prices go up, you're putting money in your pocket. If you wait and rent goes up, you're wasting money. Stuff that seems obvious to us as realtors because we're in the industry is not obvious to the average person. I could not tell you how many times, that poll is an example, I could not tell you how many times I come across things where I'm like, how did you not know this, you dumb? And it's because they're not in it. They're not having these conversations every single day like we are, especially if you're a person that absorbs a lot of content. When you're listening to real estate content, whether it's podcasts or you're reading books or you're plugging into the Keller Williams trainings or you listen to me speak every single week and I say the same things over and over again, it comes like second nature to you. That's a good thing. And yet we need to share and reiterate that with other people. That's also why we follow accounts that are doing well. I saw that post got a lot of views. I saw that post got a lot of comments. I'm going to make my own version of it. Now, a little caveat here, don't get fixated on how well posts do or don't do. The point of a content calendar is to make your life easier. It has nothing to do with the engagement, with an extent. We want to post it consistently. I mentioned this earlier. I hear all the time, I see your stuff everywhere. It looks like you're killing it. It looks like you're doing really well in real estate. Lynn Ann put it in the chat earlier. Her brother emailed her from Greensboro and said, it looks like you're doing really well in real estate. It's that consistency built out over time. I heard that last year too. And last year was my worst year in real estate in 14 years. And yet I still heard, it looks like you're killing it. It looks like you're really busy. It looks like real estate's going really well for you. And I'm like, dude, if you only knew. But that's the point. You're creating the impression that you're the expert, you're the local market, and you know what you're doing. And then Friday, what's happening this weekend? It does not have to be real estate related. As I mentioned, some of those examples, it can be events, it can be music related, it can be, and matter of fact, it should be around your personal interests. If you don't go to museums, don't share what the VMFA has going on. That would be silly. The VMA used to do a thing called it was like Thursday Wine, I think. They would have a little band out front. They'd have wine vendors come, and you could walk around the museum and sip wine and listen to live music. And people that were into that went to it. I'm in recovery. I don't drink. I'm not going to that. Sorry. I also never liked wine. It would be silly for me to share that. Same thing though with like a Flying Squirrels baseball game. I love baseball. So sharing the Flying Squirrels baseball games or their fireworks nights on Saturdays would make sense. People know that I love sports. Questions, thoughts, comments on the content calendar? Or any other ideas that you want to throw out there? Notice this is Monday through Friday. This does not mean you can't post on Saturday or Sunday. However, if you post Monday through Friday, you typically won't need to post on Saturday or Sunday. Now, we're going to talk about a cadence exercise here in a little bit. That will involve Saturdays or Sundays. I leave Saturdays or Sundays for engagement, with an exception of if we have a Sunday open house, I will post again on Saturday to remind everybody. If we have something go under contract, I may post that in real time. And then Sundays, I do share a lot about like if I hear a really good sermon at church, I'm going to share something with it. But that's that know me piece. Now, if you go to church on Saturday, do that on Saturday. It doesn't have to be a Sunday thing. All right, let's talk branding for a second. Another bold exercise is the top half of this page. My 10-5-1 rule is the bottom half of this page. Now, personal brand. And this, go ahead, take a picture, screenshot, or write this down. This is a great social media exercise you can do. However, before you do it, I want you to think about what your personal brand is. Now, I don't mean it's Krista Dotson Realty. I mean it's, and I'm not picking on you, Krista, you're just the first name I see when I look at the participants. I mean more of like, what do you associate with your brand meaning? So for example, Eden Properties, we just did a rebrand. We changed our logo. We changed our color scheme. It looks a little classier now than it did before. It also has a focal point of a tree. Tree is associated with life, also Eden. There's an overlap there. We did our color schemes and our logo to appeal more to a higher price point or a luxury market. However, when I say, what do you think of when you think of personal brand? Or when I say, what do you think of when you think of Eden Properties? The number one response I get is you give value, you're a market expert or knowledge of the market or real estate, and you educate all the time. The reason why, I'm a coach, just in my blood. I've been coaching since I was 14 years old. For 18 years, I've been coaching something. Coach is very natural to me. Teacher or educator is very natural to me. That's my style. If people resonate with that, or if they don't know something and they want to get the value, they're gonna lean towards my brand. If not, they're not. The people that I butt heads with more than anybody else are people that think they know it all, or they don't want to listen to my advice. I have a current seller I'm doing that with right now. Thank you, Rhonda. So the exercise is make a list or make a mental note of what you want to be thought of and what your personal brand is. Then you're going to make the social media post on your platform. What do you think of when you think of me? Or what do you think of when you think of blank as a brand? Now, blank would be, in my case, Eden Properties. Or if you want to build a brand that's not your name, that's where you would insert that there. Then you're going to reflect on the responses. Now, this does not mean you need to actively engage with everybody that responds. You can just say, like, thank you so much for your input. I appreciate you, or something of that nature, like I would reply. But you're going to reflect on your responses, and you're going to see, A, do they match the brand you defined? And B, how are they different? When we did this exercise back at Bold, a lot of people commented knowledgeable, expert, caring, give value, things that I wanted to be known for. Now, if I saw something like, I'm trying to think of an example that would be positive, but not what I want to resonate with. If I saw first-time home buyer expert, that might not necessarily be what I want to be known for. This does not mean I don't work with first-time home buyers. However, my niche, as we've talked about before, is how to sell and buy at the same time. So I have to think about that with my brand. Then we're going to talk about how you can change or how you can improve that. So that's personal brand exercise. We're going to bring this up again tomorrow. And then the 10-5-1 rule. This is a game or an exercise you can play with every single day. If you want to build out a social media, you should be doing this on your one platform that you choose. Daily, we're going to look to comment on 10 posts, and we're going to look to message 5 different people. Now, you can count one of those messages as a share. I would not do 5 shares. I know that reads a little strange, but a share counts as a 5. And then 1 new ad every single day. If you don't have a lot of people on your Facebook, switch 5 and 1, meaning add 5 new people, or on your platform, excuse me, not Facebook, on any platform, whatever one you're choosing. If you don't have enough people on there, switch the 5 and the 1. So you would do 10 comments, 5 new ads, and 1 direct message. Every single day that you work. Monday through Friday for most people. If you're at a slow open house, great opportunity to do this. On a Saturday or Sunday, you can get a bonus day in there. The more you do it, the more you're going to build your social media. This falls into one of those categories that we've talked about before, where if you don't hit your goal, so for example, let's say I do 7 of the 10 comments today, I don't do 13 tomorrow. It's 10-5-1 every day. So if you miss today, you just pick right back up tomorrow. You do not have to roll it over or try to do 50 in a week or anything like that. All right, questions, thoughts, comments on this slide? Cool, we're almost done. All right.
I have a question real quick, Austin.
Go ahead. Yep.
So, all right. So what I noticed on the business page side is that's a whole different group of folk, than the regular Facebook page side. So should I like and share their things?
No, I would keep your business page related to your business and what you're posting. And then I would
Okay.
do the 10-5-1 on your personal page.
Okay.
Now,
Okay.
one of your posts on your personal page should be something from your business page. So let's go back to the content calendar real quick. If I'm sharing a Thursday tip or what's happening, or even a local market, maybe I post that on my business page and then share that to my personal page as the post. Because
Okay.
then as I'm doing this 10-5-1 rule on my personal page, more of those people are going to see my business page posts, and they're going to start to gravitate towards my business page.
Okay.
Which we want them
Okay.
on both. Your business page is traditionally the main focus of it is brand awareness.
Okay.
It's not necessarily engagement. Your personal page is where the engagement comes from.
All right. Thank you.
Good question. Yeah, good question. All right, let's talk cadence and audience. This is another game or exercise you can do, especially now. It's a good time to start it. I know we're at April 7th. It's close enough, even if you go into the first month of May. The point of this is we're going to take one of our platforms, the one that you're trying to build the target audience on, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, etc. There are 26 letters in the alphabet and about 30 days in the month, depending on the month. The first day, you're going to reach out to all those people whose names start with an A with the DM. Day 2, B. Day 3, C. Day 4, D. And you get where I'm going. Each day, you're going to send a DM that is relevant to that day. It could be, hey, I was thinking about you guys over the weekend. Have a great Monday. Let's catch up soon. It could be, I saw the Final Four this weekend and I knew you were a big Duke fan. Hope you're okay. Ha ha ha. They lost. Heartbreaker. Stinks to stink. You can say something funny if you are funny. Don't be a jerk if you're not funny. But then you can say something related to holidays. You can say something related to school. Man, that spring break went by fast. Can't believe they're back in school. Not to mention it was raining, so the traffic was horrible this morning. Hope you're doing well. Let's catch up soon. This will build a cadence and it will build an audience. Again, if you miss a day, do the next letter the next day. That just stinks for the bees or whoever list you forget. Same thing if you don't get through them all. If you have 4,000 friends on Facebook, you might not be able to message all the A's. This is also an opportunity time to clean up your Facebook or your Instagram or whatever. If you don't want to message them, they probably shouldn't be friends with you on Facebook. The last couple of years, I've done that. I've cleaned out my social media. There's a lot of people that I'm not friends with on there anymore because I've removed them. So I'm like, I don't want to see your stuff and you don't want to see mine. So goodbye. And even if you do want to see mine, goodbye. I don't want to see yours. Or I don't want to message you. Or they hired another agent after I spent years helping them. Sorry, see ya. And that's okay. All right, we're out of time, so I'm going to wrap it up quickly. Track your numbers. The only way to know you're on the right path is in the math. You have to know what you are doing. Make a little spreadsheet or make a little handwritten piece of paper or a journal or a notebook and track some of these exercises you're doing. Write out what your content calendar is. Write out the 10-5-1 and check a checklist to see if you do it. You don't necessarily need to keep track of the A to Z cadence, but you should. You will be surprised what that does to your business. All right, questions, thoughts, comments, concerns before we wrap up. Cool. Thank you for being here. I will hopefully see all of you tomorrow. Reminder, we have the agent brunch at 10. So we will be in the training room from 9 to 10. And then we'll eat some yummy food and hang out and have fellowship and socialize. And then we will have the team meeting at 11. So a little busy day tomorrow. But I will see most of you then. I will also send an email out later today when this is uploaded to YouTube. Au revoir.